I'm continuing this story time with The Art of Being and Becoming by Hazrat Inayat Khan. Still in the introduction. Now coming to the other aspect of personality, which belongs to speech. The more we understand about this, the more we know that for every word there is a time, and for every word there is a place. Everything you say that is in its own place and is a fitting thing will be good. It becomes wrong when it is spoken in a place which is not its place. People generally do not think about this. Very often people are outspoken. They do not mind when they speak, what they speak, where they speak. A person who has no control of his speech becomes like a kind of machine which goes on and on and on without any will at the back of it. Remember that not only do such people not gain the affection and approbation of others, but they repel others. They cannot keep any secret because they have the habit of saying everything. They have no control over it. Once a woman went to a healer and said, "Can you help me? I am in distress." The healer asked, "What is the matter?" She said, "When my husband comes home, he is in such a state that there is always a disagreement." "Oh," said the healer, "that is the easiest thing to do. I would just give you these magnetized lozenges. When your husband comes home, you take one in the mouth and keep it there." When her husband came home tired and fatigued, he was inclined to war as usual. But she was quiet and did not answer. He was grumpy for a little while, but then became quiet. And so the home became more harmonious. Then, before the lozenges were finished, she went to the healer and said, "Give me one more pack of these." And he answered, "Lady, learn from this that it is not the lozenges, it is the closed lips. When your husband is tired, he does not know his mind. And when you do not encourage him to quarrel, he will not quarrel. The art of personality is not so difficult to learn. It is to learn to be thoughtful. Those who say much very often say so little. Others who say little say much. It depends upon how it is said. The Bible says first was the Word, and the Word was God. That shows what power the Word has. If we control our speech, if we know how to use a word, we know the chemical science of life and use it to the best purpose of life. Sometimes a person can change a situation by one word, when others cannot change it by 100 hammers. There is a way to hammer and break a rock, and there is the way of the water. If the rock is in the way, the water will not hammer at it. The water will surround it, will run smoothly over it and make its way on the top of the rock. And in this way, the waves will proceed. If one only knew the art of personality. If a person is upset among 10 people who want to console him, there are 9 who will upset him more, and there is rarely one who will console him. That consolation also belongs to the art of personality. Thus we come to another aspect of the art of personality, and that is sympathetic and right thinking. By right thinking, all that one says and does naturally becomes right, because the root of every speech and action is in the mind. Naturally, by right thinking, one speaks rightly and acts rightly. One cannot do otherwise. But what generally happens is that one never thinks about right thinking in connection with oneself. One always thinks about it in connection with others. If there is any wrong, it is in the other. And the most wonderful thing is that the one who is most in the wrong is the one who sees most the wrong in others. You will see that that person who is full of wrongs knows 1,000 wrongs about 1,000 people. Besides, our experiences make us so pessimistic that if a person says, "I have seen such a nice and kind and good person," we begin to doubt it. Unconsciously, our first thought is, can it be true? It cannot be true. There is no such thing as good in the world. But as soon as a person says, "I have seen such a wicked person," everybody is interested because they believe it. That shows that we hardly expect any experience that can ever be right. The fourth aspect of the art of personality is feeling. The great drawback of modern civilization is that man today thinks what is balanced and practical is to think with the brain, to reason things out. But he thinks that to feel with the heart is not practical. It's not common sense. Therefore, today a normal and balanced person is the one who lives in his brain. And the one whose heart is developed is called a fanatic or unpractical. Imagine, after reading in the Bible that God is love, we come to believe that the one who has less God in him is the more practical. And the one who has more God in him is good for nothing. When there is a discussion among intellectual persons, it is understood to keep away from sentimentality. Just discuss the point. That keeps your reasoning clear. But this takes away the beauty of life. The art of personality is in that profound, deep feeling which directs every thought, speech, and action of man. Thank you. May you find lasting happiness.